session because Society of AIDS in Africa has made another milestone in introducing another tool in form of a journal that will inform a lot of the work we are doing, the many abstracts that we put across through ICASA conferences. Now we have an opportunity where we can continually utilize them and ensure that they are becoming of great benefit, not just to us, but to the world. So we are launching the African Journal for AIDS and Infectious Diseases AJAID journal today. And to start us off, we'll have the ICASA president make the official remarks, and then we will have a few presentations before we unveil the journal. So it's my pleasure to bring the president to the podium so that he can make remarks. Let's appreciate him. Thank you.
I'm pleased because in Ghana, this is a long weekend, which started on a Friday. Friday was a holiday. So the Ghanaians from Friday, they were not at work. Saturday, Sunday, so they start work tomorrow. So it's a long weekend, but it's pleasing that people have still turned up to come and participate. And for us in ICASA, this is a very important workshop, and we are happy that this journal is going to be launched today. Let me recognize the Society for AIDS Board, the trustees that are here, Luke Bodia, the director, the various professors that are here, the communities that are here, students, scholars, researchers that are here and have come for this particular important launch. As you are aware, we also had 35 years of the Society for AIDS in Africa's history. And it showed a sort of a rich, a very courageous and very persevering society that we have survived this long and were determined to continue. And I think it's a good thing. So 35 years is also coinciding with the launch of a journal. And under my leadership and with the dedication of our editorial team, this journal will be a direct response to challenges that we all know too well. The challenges are that there is underrepresentation of African research in mainstream medical journals. And you know that there are many medical journals in the world, popularly the JAMA, the Lancet, the New England Journal of Medicine, some journals on infectious diseases, and so on and so forth. Even here in Ghana, there's a Ghana Medical Journal. So there are many journals that are being launched. But for us, because we do a lot of work in terms of research, we produce a lot of abstracts each year. Each ICASA, there is a lot of abstracts that come up. And we do need a journal that can feed into, that all this information can be fed into. So we're pleased that this is there. And you will see the team that will present here, very seasoned people, and we're keen to see this go ahead. So AJAID, as it is called, will fill that gap with clarity, with professionalisms, and we will prioritize the context-specific interventions. And we'll have our research that is grounded in our own situations here in the Africa region. We want to amplify African voices where evidence will shape the decisions that we make. So I want to thank the partners that are here. You are aware that for such a journal we need partners. Want to thank them and acknowledge them. Want to thank the editorial board that is here. The potential contributors, especially the young people, young scholars, and communities. We hope that you will contribute to this particular journal. We want this journal in the end to become a very prestigious science-based journal for the Africa region. Something that if you put an article in there, it will be one that people will say, it is already in that journal, and it will be seen as something quite prestigious. So we want to celebrate that journal, and therefore I want to officially open this workshop so that we get on with it and see what our professors here are going to give us for this. Thank you, moderator.
A better clap for the ICASA president. Thank you so much for the beautiful, beautiful remarks and really letting us know that it is our journal. From communities to the researchers to everyone, this will be a great platform for all of us. So at this time, I want to invite some panelists. These have been very, very, very critical people in discussing and ensuring that this journal is well articulated, and the planning, all the background work that has been done by this team, the committee of the AJAID journal. And the chair of this journal has been none other than Professor Morenike. And I want to just invite her to the podium. She has been amazing and has worked well and led the team. I also want to invite Professor Chakron Mohammed. Professor Chakron is the vice chair of the journal and has really worked to ensure that this journal is set in place. And I also want to invite Dr. Munya, a committee member of the journal, who has also worked very hard to ensure that the setup is done. So welcome, Dr. Munya. So we will be hearing a bit about the journal so that we know where we've come from and what the vision of the journal is and what will be expected of us and of the journal. And to give us the vision of AJAID, the Africa Journal for AIDS and Infectious Diseases in Africa, addressing the African research gap, will be Professor Morenike to give us the initial presentation and to bring us to speed with what it is all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, good morning. I think we've already moved into afternoon, everyone. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. I think for me it's an honor to make this happen. This has been a dream of 10 years, thereabout. That this finally got into fruition. It's a big delight for me. I celebrate that and congratulate the Society for AIDS in Africa's administrative section that had made this happen, as well as the board. Just to do a brief, how do I move this? Thank you. Okay, I think it's the large green one. So to note that, as everybody has said, it's a groundbreaking event to launch the African Journal of AIDS and Infectious Diseases. And as we call it, we say it will serve as the premier platform for sharing HIV and AIDS-related research in Africa, addressing critical gaps in knowledge and fostering evidence-based solutions tailored to the continent's need. Before I introduce you to the big story of why we're here, what we're going to do, I would want to also highlight what the gaps truly are and why we have to do this. This is not just another registration of another journal. It's actually critical. And I'm hoping that every single one of you will join us in making this really good, what it should be, and tell others about what it is. As we do know, Africa accounts for 60% of the global HIV and AIDS burden, but it's underrepresented in terms of what we say about what we do in the global journal in an inequitable fashion, and that's what I'm hoping that I will share with you today. If you look at the number of publications from the African continent, please look at the lines. The purple that you're seeing, appreciating that not everybody would see colors appropriately, but the very top one that you're seeing represents the global average in terms of the number of publications around the world. But when you look at the yellow line, which is representing South Africa, the red line, South America, and the red line representing North America, look at the bottom. There are two lines that are running exactly the same. The blue line, which represents Australia, and the green line. There's a green line there. When I drew it, it was black. Exactly the same, Africa. But you know why that is pathetic? It's not that Australia and Africa has the lowest number of publications. That's not the story. It's that Australia is a continent of 2 countries and Africa is a continent of 55 countries. So we're saying, in effect, that a continent of 2 countries is producing exactly the same number of publications from the continent of 55 countries. That is what is pathetic about that graph. When we move forward to look at field-weighted citation impact, which is actually looking at what is the impact of what you're doing, what you see is that Australia, that was at par with Africa in terms of producing manuscripts, is well above the global average, while Africa, that was at par with Australia, is below the global average. That tells you something. Now, although we're producing manuscripts, what is it? What is the impact of what we're doing? We do appreciate that quite a number of us on the continent produce manuscripts to fill in for promotion. But there is increasing awareness that we have to do manuscript publication beyond promotion. We have to tell our story so that it can inform policies and programs. In the absence of that, I have been involved in developing policies and policy documents in Nigeria. When it doesn't exist, I had to use proxy data from Egypt, from South Africa, and that's not Nigeria. It doesn't tell the story. And it's the same at the global level. When WHO has to tell the story for Africa, in the absence of data from Africa, they're going to use data from Southeast Africa, and then Southeast Asia, and then it doesn't work. So we have to tell our stories, not just tell it, but tell it from a lens, and I'll be talking about that briefly. So when we look at, now there's something, sorry, there's a slide that's supposed to be here. What I was going to show there was that one of the things that becomes very powerful is collaboration. Collaboration matters, collaboration will drive research up. And one of the things you would see in that missing slide that I showed was that Australia and Africa were 2 countries that had excellent collaboration above the global average. But yet, what is it that is affecting our own stories of collaboration that isn't making us have field-weighted impact when, yes, truly we have collaboration? What this slide is showing is that collaboration is very important. International collaborations, we have national collaborations, we have institutional collaborations. Of course, we have single authorships, which we might not be considering in our journal because of the problems with single authorship. But when we have international collaboration, sees the impact. When it is better cited, it has better field-weighted citation. So collaboration is powerful. But like I said, what I showed, looking at that, African collaboration is happening, Australian collaboration is happening, well above the global average, but we're not seeing impact. So something must be happening not right. And this is my perspective of what is happening not right. We did a bibliometric analysis from my own field in Africa from 2016 and 2023, and what was clear was that the collaboration we were seeing was truly not south, but it was along the line of colonization. So you would see Liberia collaborate with US, Nigeria collaborate with UK, France, Senegal collaborate with France. It was along the line of colonization. We saw very little south-south. And that has implication. This story is very powerful for me. This was not my slide. This slide I imported from my friend Nebuya from African Citizen. This slide is very powerful because we look at it. HIV is our problem, malaria is our problem, TB is our problem. But look at where the publications are. Check HIV, Sub-Saharan Africa, look at Europe, look at North Africa. That's where the publication is. See malaria. Malaria is our problem, but see where the publications are coming from. See TB. TB is African problem. The biggest dot in Africa is Southern Africa. Otherwise, it's from Europe, it's from America. Why is this a problem? Why is this a problem? We have the problem, but publication is elsewhere. And this is my story about the problem and why we need this journal. The foreign gaze. I love Shea's piece, and it's a global, well-recognized, this foreign gaze and what it means about authorship in Africa, in academic global health. And I'll read because it's powerful. He notes, I was really interested in Black readership. For me, the parallel of Black readership of his literature is Black music. But the splendor of Black music was because its audience was from within the Black people itself. That was his primary audience. And the fact that the Black music has become universal worldwide, anyone, everywhere can play it, and it has evolved. It was because it was not tampered with. It was not editorialized within the community. That's the power of Black music, and that's the power of it becoming global in itself. So I wanted the literature that I wrote to be that same way, and it just goes straight to where the soul was from, where the fertility was in this landscape. And also, I wanted to feel free, not to have the wide gaze in that place that was so precious, to me. In effect, when other people tell our stories, they tell it from the lens that they know. When Europeans and Africans write the story of our epidemics, they tell it from what they understand as a standard. It is defined by their own lens. When we tell our stories, we tell it with the reality of our context and situate the interpretation from our local context. And therefore, the use of that data can become a lot more powerful. This is a place we're feeling with this journal. We do not have enough journal to tell our stories on the continent. And so we will be telling that story through the launch of this journal, where we'll be sharing regional knowledge, we'll be advocating for local solutions that are globally relevant, and we would also create a platform for African researchers to share. Please note that the journal is not a dumping ground. We're starting our first publication with a Q1 level status, and over 2 years, hopefully, we would be Scopus indexed. So we're starting with high standards so that what we publish from this journal gets acknowledged and are vested into WHO global policies and are found relevant. Our vision, therefore, is to serve as the premier platform for advancing knowledge and fostering dialogue on HIV and AIDS within the African context. Please note, we're not limited to HIV and AIDS. We are acknowledging that there are other infectious diseases, and this journal will be open to that. We will bridge the gap between researchers, clinicians, community-based organizations, and policymakers. We do know that we have capacity needs on this continent. One of the things you would have seen us do over the years is the abstract training, intense abstract training, and that had improved the quality of abstracts submitted to here. So the journal will also be doing intense manuscript writing training so that you do know what it is in terms of standard that we'll be expecting. It is focused on Africa, but interdisciplinary in its approach, bilingual, so we would be open not just to English, but like I said, we will be supported through capacity building structures. And we'll be looking at biomedical research, community-based research, human rights and ethics, social science, public health epidemiology, as well as policy systems. This is all we'll be covering, 10 primary research areas, and please note, you can find your niche within these 10 policy areas. And on that note, I'd like to thank you for listening and hand over to my co-chair.
Thank you very much, Prof. Morenike. And in continuity with what Prof. Morenike said, our fundamental objective is to ensure quality, impact, and sustainability of the publication. For that, our content strategy is designed to balance academic rigor with broad accessibility. A high proportion of original research articles is essential for achieving indexing in PubMed and Scopus, while diverse content type as editorial opinion pieces, case studies, and letters to editors will engage with a wider audience of practitioners, policymakers, and community leaders. We also aim to uphold the highest standard of scientific integrity with clear process, including 8 steps from submission of the manuscript to screening and double-blind reviewing, and finally, editor making decision and approval, final approval. And our process aligns with the ethical standard of the Committee on Publication Ethics, ensuring objectivity, transparency, and quality. So there is a real opportunity for our journal to emerge in the current landscape of medical journal, as a substantial body of relevant research already exists, with more than 8,000 articles with African affiliation on HIV and AIDS related topics indexed in PubMed in 2022 alone. We target for 40 to 60 highly quality original research articles to be published annually in the early years. And we expect that the number of the publication will increase to 60 to 80 articles annually within 3 to 5 years. By providing an accessible Africa-focused platform and leveraging networks like the Biennial ICASA conference, our journal is well positioned to attract a steady stream of high-quality submission. The journal will be driven by a team of acclaimed African health leaders from different countries. Prof. Morinike from Nigeria, Prof. Seni Kwanda from Burkina Faso, Prof. Nyaradzo Mugodi from Zimbabwe, Prof. Sashwira Munia from South Africa, and myself from Tunisia. The journal is also, will be also guided by external editorial readership. Prof. Nikes Ndebi from Democratic Republic of Congo, Prof. Morinike from Nigeria, and myself from Tunisia. And our proposed editorial board comprises leading experts from across the country, including 10 countries from South Africa, Uganda, Ethiopia, Kenya, Cameroon, Congo, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria and Tunisia. So one of our most important objectives is also to advance global goals through locally relevant research. For SDG 3, the journal will directly contribute by publishing research that improves HIV/AIDS prevention, treatment, and care for millions. For SDG 10, with reducing inequality, our journal will amplify the voice of Africa and focusing on marginalized population. The journal addresses health disparity with Africa and between Africa and the world. By SDG 17 partnership for the goals, the journal will serve as a hub of knowledge exchange, strengthening collaboration between African institutions and global partners. And finally, the journal is also committed to advancing SDG 5 about gender equality through editorial policies that mandate sex disaggregated data and promote female scientists. African Journal for AIDS and Infectious Diseases is a new journal for Africa and by Africa. And the journal is intended to contribute to bridging gaps between academia, policy, and practices, to also providing a voice for African researchers and communities, and fostering innovation to achieve an AIDS-free generation. With that, I will hand over for my colleague, Seshura Monia from South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A better clap for Professor Chakron. Indeed, I believe we are getting the gist of this journal, and I just feel like over and over repeating the words of Professor Morenike, that we need to tell our story our way. Yeah? We need to tell our story our way, and I think that's very powerful, and I believe we are getting passionate about this journal. So I will call again Professor Morenike to make remarks on behalf of the editor-in-chief who was not able to join us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be speaking on behalf of Professor Nikes Ndembi, who is the editor-in-chief. He had to leave today to receive 3 ministers of health who was visiting his office first thing tomorrow, so he had to be on ground. So as I read, I'm speaking as his voice that I'm sharing. He notes, Mr. President of SAA, distinguished members of the Society for AIDS in Africa, esteemed colleagues, researchers, policymakers, community advocates and partners, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a profound honor to stand before you, he's the one standing before you today, at this pivotal moment in the history of a scientific community. As we gather here in Accra, we are not just attending a conference, we are witnessing the birth of a new vessel for African scientific excellence. Today, it's his distinguished privilege to congratulate the Society of AIDS in Africa for the launch of the African Journal of AIDS and Infectious Diseases. For too long, the story of HIV and AIDS and other infectious diseases in Africa has been told through the lens that are not our own. While we value global collaboration, there is an undeniable necessity for a platform that prioritizes the African context, one that provides a dedicated space for high-quality, locally relevant research that directly informs our policies and practices. The African Journal for AIDS and Infectious Diseases in Africa is that platform. This journal is not merely a collection of articles. It is a strategic tool designed to bridge the gap between scientific discovery and public health impact. As the editor-in-chief for which he is, I see a mandate extending far beyond the printing of papers. We are aligning our mission directly with the Sustainable Development Goals, ensuring that every piece of research we publish contributes to the broader global development agenda. And specifically, the journal is committed to 4 core pillars. The first is the SDG 3, which is ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being of all. And by rigorously vetting and publishing breakthrough research on HIV and AIDS and co-infections, we aim to accelerate the deployment of life-saving treatments and prevention strategies that are tailored to the unique genetic, social, and economic fabrics of our continent. Second, we are tackling SDG 10, which is reducing inequalities. Health inequalities is often fueled by a lack of access to knowledge, and by providing an open and accessible platform for the African researchers ranging from early career scientists to established experts, we are democratizing the production of knowledge. I just want to add here that I think one of the brilliant things we should celebrate with the Society for AIDS in African board and the management is that it's paid up front for the first number of years, and so once a manuscript is accepted, you don't have to worry about APCs. I think that should be celebrated. Yeah. Oh, yes, I think it should be celebrated loudly. We talk about APCs, article processing fee being an hindrance for this journal for the first few years. That will be waived. He also notes that a very critical and sustaining agenda for the journal is the SDG Goal 17, which is strengthening global partnership. And the journal serves as a bridge. It's going to connect African researchers with global partners, fostering North-South as well as South-South collaborations, and strengthening the institutional capacity of our research centers. We aim to be the nexus where science meets solidarity. Of course, we are very much focused with the agenda SDG 5 that is looking at equity across. So as we launch today, I want to echo the sentiment of my colleagues, Professor Upong and Professor Chakrum. We are here to fill a regional gap, to support interdisciplinary excellence, and to build capacity. The journal is not a dumping ground. The first edition will start as a Q1 level journal that would get us into the PubMed and Scopus space sooner than later. I invite you all, as researchers, clinicians, policymakers, community advocates, to see the journal as the home for your top manuscripts. Send us your original manuscripts, your reviews, your case studies, and help us build a repository of knowledge that future generations will rely on. I would like to thank the Society for AIDS in Africa's leadership for this vision, the editorial board for their dedication, and to all of you for being part of this historical launch. Once again, congratulations to the Society for AIDS in Africa for officially launching the journal, and let us write the next chapter of Africa's health response together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those great remarks from the editor-in-chief. At this point, I want to welcome the ICASA director, Mr. Luke Bodea, and also the ICASA president once again, so that we can unveil the journal logo and also the page as we do the launch today. And please don't go. After that, we'll have some moment to engage with the panelists so that we can be able to ask questions. So, I want to invite the ICASA president over. So that he can officially launch the journal.
Thank you. I think you will agree with me that this is very inspiring, extremely inspiring for us at ICASA and the Society for AIDS in Africa. This hall is called the John Dramani Mahama Room. This is where we are launching this, in this room. If you come 10 years from now, you will not find that name out there. This name is for ICASA purposes. So somebody comes back in 10 years and says, where did you launch it? Where is this John? It won't be there. This is just for ICASA purposes. Those names, Meskerem and so on and so forth, are just for ICASA. So I want you to understand that. So we're going to officially launch this. This is a very welcome journal which will put the Africa region now in the forefront of research as well. And I think what you saw, the number of topics, subjects that are going to be tackled are going to be very, very critical. You remember, Akudo, we were talking about traditional medicine. And we were worried whether African traditional knowledge, so to speak, should it be merged with the allopathic medicine? Should they be together? Others argue they should go parallel and just cross-refer. Otherwise, if you merge, you kill the initiative. It's the same as this journal. You must do it yourselves. If you try to create mergers with other journals, then you dilute yourselves. So we hope that this will grow in its own. So look. You have to say officially launch. Yeah. So I want to now officially launch AJAID. Can we all stand and help us officially launch it? We officially launch it, so you just clap. There's nothing to do to shake. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, amazing, amazing, amazing. And Emmanuel, maybe you can just go to the page before we get to the next session of asking questions. I know you have many questions or just clarifications you would want to get from the team, which is already here. So please get ready with your questions, but we are really excited about this milestone. So we want to open up for a few questions or reflections. Please, you can raise up your hand so that we are able to give you an opportunity, interact with the team that is managing the journal, the editorial team. Any question? Okay. There is someone behind at the back, kindly. We can get maybe about 3-4 questions. Okay, there is another hand at the corner. 2 more. Question, reflection, and if they are not there, we are also happy that you have bought into the vision, but you can go ahead.
Thank you, and congratulations to ICASA. I have 2 questions. Will publications be accepted in French? And will there be an accompanying podcast or other media to support dissemination of the findings and the publications? Thank you.
Congratulations again to the panel, particularly to the journal. I have one main question. Mine is on the issue of discounts. Do we have, or how much discounts do we have as Africans? I know maybe it will be perceived as liking freebies, but just for maybe for scholars or for students. Those, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. At the middle and
have a mic.
Also this other side.
Thank you. I would like to congratulate again the whole team. My name is Janine Chondo. I'm also the board member for ICASA. I have 2 comments. The first one is the possibility of accepting the preprint. We think that also can boost the visibility of the journal. The second one is about the supplements. So I was wondering, with this big conference, have we already started thinking about the outcome of this meeting to be submitted as a supplementary articles that can be invited? Thank you.
Okay. There are 2 more hands in the middle, kindly. And then after the 2, we can have the responses, and then we can have one more round.
Hello. Yeah. My name is Samira. I write for the Ghana News Agency. So I want to find out how often would the publication be made, the journal, I mean. Is it going to be weekly, monthly, annually? When, or how often would the publication come out? And when would the first edition come out? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Dr. Shumefo Esther. I work with UNFP in Nigeria. I just want to ask, what's the impact factor for now? I'm not sure if I did hear anything like that, because that plays a great role sometimes. Secondly, are we looking at having special editions where we have call and we want special papers on certain topics? And then the third, I'm glad that I heard that you're going to take other diseases beyond HIV into the journal. And I want to say once again, congratulations. This is long overdue. And I hope that with this journal, we're going to be able to push ourselves out there like Australia, like you said, Professor Upong. Thank you.
Okay. We can respond to those questions, and then we'll get more questions coming along.
Yeah, thanks for those excellent questions. As we did note, while presenting, we said publications will be taken in French and English. Yes, and we would have interpretations in the journal. Excellent suggestions about podcasts to support the publications. We'll be working with the publisher to do this. We already noted that APC is already supplemented for the first few years, and therefore when you're submitting from Africa, you would not be paid APC. There's always a place for supplementary articles. The entire program, the abstracts for the session will be published in the first edition of the journal, but we also noted that the 5 track winners, one of the encouragement for them is to have their abstract developed into full manuscript. We'll be supporting them to do that so that it's top quality manuscripts, and that would also be submitted. As you already note, we're driving for 30 to 40 publications with the first edition, and it's all paid up for by Society for AIDS in Africa, so you're welcome to be part of that. How often? As an open access journal, you publish as soon as it is accessible. We do not publish every year or every month. Once it is accepted, it goes online as an open access. Impact factor, you only get impact factor after publishing for many years, for a number of years. Like we said, our first edition will be of Key1 journal standard. That's what we're going so that we can get as fast as possible into PubMed and Scopus and other indexing bodies. And doing that over some years will get us impact factor sooner than later. Special editions, like it happens in open access, we will do special editions, but it takes a lot. Not sure it's something you want to do in the first year, because special editions means you have experts who are going to serve as guest editors for those special editions, research topics or whatever. But yes, I don't think there's any journal who knows his onions that is not doing that now. So it's a way to go. Thank you very much for the excellent questions. I hope I've addressed them. The next set of questions when they come will be answered by here.
Thank you, Prof. Morinike. Just to answer a question about English-French, I think we will start with the English articles. We will discuss in the editorial board if we can use some summaries in French, but we will discuss the opportunity to publish also French articles in the future. But at the beginning, we will start only with English. Accessibility, I think we have a platform now, and this platform will be shared by SAA website. And I think this journal is for you, so you have to commit with us, you have to engage with us, we have to send your manuscript, and with this manuscript we can apply for indexing in PubMed on Scopus. And as I mentioned in my presentation, we need at least 40 to 60 manuscript and publication per year of original research to be indexed. So you can help us, let's help us for this objective, and let's see and set up this objective to be achieved by 2 or 3 years. Impact factor, I think Prof. Morinike answered to this question. For special edition, I think we can plan for this specific or special edition on some topics on HIV, for example, on triple elimination, on co-infection, on comorbidities. So we will discuss this on the next editorial board. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those reflections. And in the interest of time, we want to stop here, but okay.
Thank you so much, Jan. I just want to add one thing based on what Prof just said. The journal is bilingual, English and French. And we start by publishing both in English and French. You know, it should be clear. And the other issue I want to say, let me take the opportunity to thank Prof. Morinike, Haley, and all of them because we have that vision since more than 20 years ago, and it was tough to pull it out. And today is a reality. I never believed that one day I will leave SAA and have that journal done. But really, Prof, thank you so much for your support. And let me say that under the leadership of the President, really, we were able to pull it out because he gave us the go-ahead. We are having some president that did not allow us to have a journal of Society for AIDS in Africa. But today is a reality. Mr. President, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. Please, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Luke, for those words. So just before we finish, we have a call to action, because we want, as we live here, all of us to carry the burden and the passion so that we make this a reality. It's about us. It's about our story. So I want to invite Dr. Munya to lead us in the call to action, and then we will close the session.
Thank you, Chair of the session, Reverend Jane Ganga, and to the colleagues that we have journeyed together in the birthing of this journal. Professor Morenica, Professor Shokron, the ICASA Director, as well as the ICASA President, and the rest of the board and trustees. Colleagues, thank you very much. I think mine is just really a call to action, but I would like to preface it by indicating and reminding you that we had an abstract mentorship program earlier in the year, and that was by no accident. This was quite linked with the journal that we are linking today in order to encourage and capacitate the young researchers to be able to submit abstracts that make it into the conference. And then as the next logical step, we are launching the journal today. I will not say more. Professor Morenike already spoke about this foreign gaze. It just gave me some other thoughts, Professor Morenike. I think we'll engage here after. But very briefly for me, the foreign gaze is just really about the political economy of research and publication, as far as I'm concerned. And or rather the political economy of storytelling. Who tells your story? What story do they choose to tell? For whom and how? And who sets the standards for so saying? With that, colleagues, I would like to invite us to collaborate. The AJAID journal is more than just a journal. It is a community. We are building a coalition of minds dedicated to solving Africa's most pressing health challenges. We invite researchers, practitioners, policymakers, and community organizations to join us. Your expertise, your stories, your data, and your voices are the missing pieces of this very puzzle that we have today. So we invite you to collaborate. AJAID is more than a journal. It is our home, it is our community, it is our story. We are publishing a coalition of minds. We are building a coalition of minds dedicated to solving Africa's most pressing health challenges, and particularly in this era of polycrisis. There are so many things that are happening in this particular era that we are in, and of course other pandemics that are expected to arise. So please be part and parcel of this. We invite researchers, we invite you as policymakers and practitioners. Please do join us. We need you for this. To our researchers and authors, please submit your work. We call upon African scientists and others, and storytellers, I think I must say, to make AJAID your home for publishing. Publish with impact, reach the audience that matters most, local policymakers and peers, grow with us, benefit from our capacity building workshops and mentorship programs, shape the narrative, help define the African health agenda from within, help tell the African story for the Africa that we want. And to our partners, practitioners, read our findings, apply the evidence in your clinics, in your settings, share your case studies, help us to bridge the gap between theory and practice. Use AJAID as your evidence bank. Let our research guide your findings and your funding decisions, as well as national health strategies. To the CBOs, FBOs, and others, partner with us, ensure that the research we publish, it reflects true needs and realities of the communities you serve. So as a vote of thanks to our visionaries, we extend our deepest gratitude as a general planning committee that we've planned and we've come to this point with deepest gratitude to the Society for AIDS in Africa for their unwavering vision, to our editorial board for their commitment to excellence, and to you, the ICASA community. Thank you also to the reviewers who uphold our standards, the authors who trust us with their work, and every attendee here today and previous conferences for supporting this historic launch. And finally, let us leave here not just with information, not just with the stories, but with a renewed commitment to action. The work begins now for the Africa that we want. So together, towards an AIDS-free Africa. And that I thank you, colleagues. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Munya. And that brings us to the end of this session, and not to the end of writing. We start now writing and submitting our work to the AJAID journal. I've been your moderator, Jane Nganga. I've been supporting this great team in coordinating the journal activities, and it's been a pleasure hosting you this afternoon. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.